Alright, so I'm going to talk about the fourth dimension and the psychic wars. And one of the most important things that you have to discover is your spiritual self, your spiritual being. And this has um, nothing to do with religion. There's key aspects in there that explain your spiritual connection, but it doesn't fully make you aware of why your spiritual connection is so important in bringing it into the physical reality. Because if you ignore your spiritual being, you fall back into the matrix system, and you basically become a zombie, and you can be controlled and manipulated very easily because you're not protecting yourself, protecting your spiritual being. Because the more and more you become aware of your spiritual being, it really is you. That's what you want to take care of is your spiritual being. You have to nurture your physical being, but your physical being is not you. It's not what's driving you, because as soon as your spiritual being leaves this physical body, it's just an empty shell. So therefore, that should be a reminder, just how important your spiritual being is. Um, and becoming aware of this, you have to learn on how to protect yourself. And I will talk about that here in a little bit. But basically, um, becoming aware of the fourth dimension, uh, you have to be willing to explore into it, learn how it works, learn how to look um, beyond this matrix system, beyond what you see with your physical eyes. This is where meditation comes in, and where you need to look within your temple. It says right in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven dwells inside you. God is within you. That's a very powerful saying, but it's also misinterpreted, because if God is within you, then you are God. The reflection of God can shine um, through into the physical reality, and it can also um, be your protector in the spirit realm as well. So if you explore into meditation and within inside your temple, your eye will be activated, your God eye, or your imagination eye, your consciousness stream opens up, and it allows you to look beyond, which is the veil. The veil is lifted. It talks about in the Bible, on how the veil will be lifted, and you can lift that veil anytime. It's not just, because the end times, perceived end times are coming, um, or when you die. That's what humanity's been taught is, oh, when you die, then the veil is lifted and then you'll know everything. But you can know everything, at least learn about your spiritual element and how things work right now. You just have to be willing to explore into it, explore within yourself. No books are going to be able to tell you um, how this works. When I gain research from within my temple. I don't read books. If my guides tell me to go look up something on the internet, then I will go look up and do research. Or if I, like I said, if I discover something, if my guides tell me something, I will research it and learn more about it. But all the information I give you guys is from within. As I learn and experience it, because I experienced it, then I can share it with you. And if my information is similar to somebody else's experience, then that not only is good for me because it gives me confirmation of what I'm experiencing isn't just me but other people as well. You get the the confirmation, that what you're experiencing really is happening to other people as well. And this helps you expand your awareness because, it breaks you out of that um, imagination state. But imagination is really your power of creation, and how you create things. Just like I said earlier on, how your consciousness creates everything for you, and then you go back into the mind, and then the mind goes and experiences what your consciousness created. Hence why imagination is very important. It's not some little make-believe kid thing. It's really your power. It's taking your power back. Imagination, magi, magic is your power. And I'll talk about that probably after this video, talk more about magic. But anyways, you know, becoming linked with the fourth dimension is very important. You have to learn on how this works. It's absolutely important, and it can also be frustrating too, which is why a lot of people are basically going crazy over this stuff because we weren't properly taught on how to protect ourselves. So because we weren't taught to protect ourselves, these the djinn or greys or these strong psychic energy, you call them vampires, which AKA are Dracos. There's no such thing as vampires. They want to cover up the name, so you wouldn't know the origin of them. But vampires are really Dracos or Draconians. Um, so these draconian beings, you know, they can rip onto you real easy. And you're not taught of this. There's some teachings out there, that teach you how to protect yourself and you know make you aware of just how involved these beings can get. Um, the more and more you explore into your spiritual experience, and when I started exploring into this, like when I had my first um, psychic exploration, because a psychic exploration is basically where you're traveling in your tube, right? Kind of like a satellite, and you just kind of interlink yourself, like you want to travel around the earth or something like that. You're able to stream through and see what's going on. And when I experienced that, I was like, all right, I want to go and explore into like underground bases and stuff. You can also do this too, and I'll talk about some of that because I've talked about underground bases as well. Um, but basically, when I was exploring and getting curious about these underground bases because I was able to see them in my psychic eye, I was attacked, and I was attacked pretty good too. It was a perceived a gray entity, but it was hooked up to a basically like if you're like familiar with like X-Men, like Professor Xavier, he like has his hood on, and it kind of gives him a mainframe, a consciousness mainframe, and that's one of the key elements that these bases do. They have psychic beings that are connected to these chairs 24/7, interlocking and changing the structures of humanity. Because humanity is so focused in this matrix structure, um, these beings have to stay in those chairs 24/7 to control the puppets, control them and lead them into something. And their agenda, those beings themselves that are in the chair, they don't have any agenda. It's the agendas. Um, it's the people or the watchers that created that control the agenda. So they will feed whatever agenda they want to that being in that psychic chair, and then they project it into humanity, which is why like cable TV or in TV, radio, any kind of um, frequencies and waves is a psychic connection. Like your phone. This is a psychic connection. When you're talking to somebody, it is generating a psychic energy out. It's airwaves, which is really psychic waves um, that project out, and it really messes with everything. It basically becomes a leech to your own being. We are not supposed to have these built-in technology. It's basically like satellites and radios and TV and stuff is fourth and fifth dimension technology, which is psychic technology. That's what it is, and it was brought into the 3D aspect of things. So, therefore, the fourth dimension is even more open now because of this technology, and it's so convenient. After um, we had these um, UFOs or ETs, that showed up in 43 or something like that, 1943, and and they kept showing up at the White House quite a lot, and people they literally forgot about it. I mean, you can look this up in the newspapers. They show the White House, and they show um, the UFOs, and they were there for like 3 days or something like that. But after that, oh, TV showed up. I could be a little off on that, but TV showed up. Just different kinds of technology started to pop up that had to do with psychic technology, and there's a big role in that. Anyways, I got off track on that. But yeah, it's basically the psychic war, and that's what I'll talk to you about now is that everything is a psychic war. And I'll get back to underground bases things. When you become aware of these beings, these underground bases, um, they have beings all over the place, and this is also why. And I hopefully I won't get heat for this, but you have to be open-minded in everything. Have you ever questioned why so many kids come up missing? Why do so many kids come up missing? And then later on, um, they're found dead, or they're just in somewhere. We focus so much on what the TV shows us and saying, oh, this person was mentally unstable, or they didn't know what they were doing, and they never look at the whole concept of, hey, children have a huge connection to um, the spirit realm. They are not manipulated by this matrix system, so they are pure. Their will and intent is pure, and because of that, they can easily be, they're full of spiritual energy, and it's in its purest form. And these beings know that, so then they want and need that and harness that energy. And it's disgusting stuff, but it's very true. That um, they're aware of all of this stuff, you know, and it's so horrible that people have created um, conspiracy theories. You know, people created conspiracy theories, so then when you discover people who are psychically linked, who know how to psychically travel through um, the barriers of dimensions, um, and tell you, okay, this is what's going on, they're like, oh, that's impossible. You know, he's just conspiracy theorist or whatever. You know, they try to label you because they don't want you to know that you're not limited. You know, they have taught humanity that you're limited. You know, and there's so much manipulation in that. It's uncanny. Even the new age thing of, oh, you need to be grounded. You need to be grounded is misinterpreted. And I hear this a lot is you need to ground yourself. You need to quit flying around or whatever. You know, you need to ground yourself. But you don't realize that the term grounding is not like grounding and interacting in your creation of the mind. Grounding is grounding with the spiritual energy of the planet that you're currently on, because energetically this is your grounding station. So it's kind of like you know, like recharge batteries, right? When you need to recharge yourself, you need to ground yourself, and then you need to plug in into the Earth's sun to recharge yourself. That's what grounding is. Grounding is not playing and interacting in this matrix system. Um, that is the manipulation. That's where the manipulation comes into play. And this is very important to, man, this video is coming along again. But this is why it's very important to um, not fall into this grounding system. Because I guarantee you, which hopefully not, but people are going to start falling back to sleep because they're going to go, all this spiritual stuff is too complicated. I I don't want to have to go experience all this stuff. I'm just going to stay grounded and then just live out my life, and then that's it. And then you're done. You fall back into zombie land. And that's not what you want to do. Yeah, that's what that's manipulation of grounding, is falling back into the matrix system. It's it's basically being saying, oh yes, just go back to sleep. Just go back to sleep. You know, just play around and we'll just attach strings to you. You know, you can go have fun. You know, do whatever you want. You know, that's what's taking place now, because people don't have anything to go by. You know, this whole Proceed 2012 thing is gone, so they have nothing to go by. This is why you're gonna see people just falling back to sleep and disappearing. And that's why you're not seeing information out there now. But yeah, these videos are getting long. I'll go ahead and I guess I'll make a part 3. I'll talk a little bit more about grounding, and I guess just whatever else pops up. Alright, talk to you in a little bit.